In this episode of Behind the Four Walls, we go inside the Gary Ablett game. We'd like to acknowledge our partners, Kazales, Trinity Beach Sports Club, Heightened Security, Traffic Services, for their ongoing contribution to helping this episode come to life.
Gary Ablett Jr. is coming back. This is huge news. He's going to be playing for the Central's Trinity Beach Footy Club up in Cairns.
Runs inside the 15, kicks a goal. It's gone, bounce away through. It's a goal. From the pocket, that is as good as it gets from the genius. Cometh the moment, cometh the man, the son of the man.
Look, obviously had a good relationship with Craig, who was our welfare guy at Melbourne during my journey at Melbourne, which was great, and we had a great relationship. And I suppose when the role came up, Craig sort of reached out to me to see if there was any interest to make a move. And as a Melbourne boy at the time, I probably was a bit unsure whether moving away was something that I was keen to do. But I met with the club, and I thought it was quite appealing from where the club was at to where we could potentially get it to. We got some good people in. We got Luke Morgan in as senior coach. Then later down the track got Tinners in as Dave Carroll as our reserves coach. Some changes on our board were made, and got a bit more stability around the club. And I think that sort of put us in a position now that we're sort of able to function and be competitive.
Goes over the top looking for Horn. Morgan breaks the tackle, then puts it on the boot. Oh, it's going to bounce through himself, it does!
And I remember sitting down with our Vice President, Joel Creek, and we felt like we needed another ruckman, and we sort of thought to ourselves, look, we've obviously got the marquee system there, and we threw up a couple of names, and look, I reached out through a couple of connections within that I know through Geelong and Gold Coast, and we reached out to Nathan Vardy and Zach Smith. They were two that are at the top of mind at the minute, and Nathan was just finishing up at West Coast, and was sort of not keen to make the move, and Zach was based on the Gold Coast, so we were able to make it work with the fly in, fly out mentality. And I suppose, look, middle of last year, then I spoke to Zach around what the opportunity. We saw Ablett played in Palmerston, and I knew that Zach and him had a reasonable relationship. I said, mate, do you mind sort of having a conversation with Gaz? And I spoke to Joel Selwood as well to sort of get in a couple of different directions to just so they knew it was serious, and we're able to pull that off, which was great for for us, but also as a club as a whole, as a community as a whole.
Takes it straight out to his old teammate Ablett. Here he goes from the pocket, left foot snap. Are you kidding? Oh my goodness, you've got to be joking.
I really enjoy this, a really great group of guys. I come up a couple of days ago and got to get out in the community, and seems like everyone had a really great time today, which is what it's all about. So body's a bit sore, there's no doubt about that. As I mentioned, I've only played one other game since I retired, so it was good just to get some run in the legs, and I'll definitely be sore for the next couple of days.
To be able to come up and be part of something like this really does mean a lot to me, because I remember how much it meant to me when AFL players would take the time to come out, kick the footy with me, just spend time talking with us. And now that I'm retired, I got the opportunity to do it. It was a really great day today. I cramped at half time. I was struggling a little bit, but I was able to run out the game, which was great. And it was really nice to get the win and nice to get to know the boys and a lot of people around the football club. So who knows, I might come up for another one later in the year.
You know, the engagement that we got from it certainly exceeded our expectations, and the way he was able to still play at his age was quite incredible, actually. So it's been a big win for certainly us as a footy club, but I think the bigger picture of it is more footy in Cairns, and I think to have someone of his stature and you know, pull on a jumper and engage with in the way that he did was just awesome for some of the kids at our footy club and juniors and women's and seniors to see.
The fact he provided some education to those young kids around these are some of the 3 fundamentals in your game you should work on if you want to obviously succeed in the game of footy. So that was massive in itself. And then, yeah, the euphoria of obviously Saturday. We planned as best we could for obviously a crowd of that size, and to see it all come together. It was probably halfway through the third quarter, you know, after the milestone, you know, that goal initially, and then just to sit back and look and go, wow, you know, this is pretty cool. You know, community footy has just been exposed to almost 3,000 people at a venue because of the legacy that Gary Ablett has, and hopefully that catapults us into the future around participation, engagement.
Some of these guys, that would have been the biggest game that they're probably ever going to play in their careers, and it's just awesome that Gary is able to be a part of some of these guys' careers like some others have been part of his careers when he was growing up.